Hey everyone, it's Mari, and thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. I'm going to be sharing a 12 by 12 scrapbooking process with you here today, and I was looking for inspiration on Pinterest for my layout. I knew that I wanted to create a layout today with a circular focal point in the center of my layout, and so I had pinned some different layouts that I was just checking out and looking at for, like I said, inspiration, just to kind of give me some ideas about placement and where embellishments might look best, and ideas for where photographs can go, and titles and all that kind of thing. I really do love pinning ideas onto my cool scrapbooking board on Pinterest for ideas. And when I'm stumped or in a bit of a funk, I do find that it is really helpful to do that. Now, I knew that I wanted to use the Create Paper Carousel collection today as well. And one of the things I find with Maggie Holmes collections is they work really well with white space. And I have this flocked paper with that really beautiful felt embossed bow on it, pattern on it, and I love this paper. And I was trying to decide how I wanted to use this, so I decided to cut the circle out of my cardstock on my silhouette, and then I took that circle piece and I just cut around it using this or with this beautiful vellum paper, and I'm just leaving a margin around the outer edge of that circle so that that can just be hidden behind the circle cutout on the front part of the layout. So I just put a little bit of adhesive on the back of that white cardstock circle, stuck it to the vellum, and then cut around it. And now I'm going to take that vellum piece, I'm going to adhere it to another piece of white cardstock, and that will be the base for the overlay that has that circle cut out on it. So I really like how this is looking, and I end up using some craft foam behind that top overlay piece just to pop it up a little bit. Now I also take my sewing machine and stitch around the edge of that circle cutout with some really pretty light blue thread, and that's going to match the embellishments from the Carousel collection that I'm going to be using to embellish my layout here today. So I'm going to just speed things up a little bit here and show you that I'm just going to adhere that vellum bow paper down to my white cardstock piece, and then I'm just going to center this, or see how I want to center this, and make sure it's straight and is looking the way I want it to. And now you can see that I've taken that craft foam, I've cut it into pieces, and placed that on the back of my overlay piece so that it will stand up off of that base with the vellum paper on it. Now I'm going to take some of my favorite color shine, and it's the Heidi Swap Gold color shine, and I'm going to sprinkle some of this onto the top overlay piece, and then I will just give that a little bit of drying time. You don't want to go in too quickly and work with that because it will smear. Now I'm going to use this really sweet cardstock frame that was in the Carousel die cut pack, and I'm going to use that as a frame around the photograph of Bailey, which what I did to print this was I measured the opening of that frame, and then I printed the photograph so that it would fit inside of that. Now this is a birthday photograph of Bailey's birthday in September, and I just printed it in black and white because I just love using black and white photographs with the Create Paper Maggie Holmes collections. And I have to say her Maggie Holmes collections are my absolute favorite of all time. I love anything Create Paper, but I just love Maggie's designs and collections. I think they're gorgeous. And so I just thought that that collection would go along nicely with what I wanted to do here today. So I'm going to just take now and place my photograph inside of the circle, and I knew that obviously I wanted the photograph in the circle, and wherever I was going to put it, I knew that that's where the embellishment cluster, the primary cluster, would be. So I picked out some things that I wanted to use on the layout, and then from there it's just really simple little embellishment clusters, first of all around that photograph. And then to create the visual triangle, I wanted to go kind of opposite that with another cluster. So that's where I have that chipboard flower from Carousel. And then of course the title will be sort of like the third area, and I'm going to do that at the top, mostly at the top of the circle. So I'm just taking little bits and pieces from the collection and layering them up around that photograph to create once again, that part where your eye is really drawn to when you look at the layout initially. And I'm just going to take little bits and pieces of the really pretty aqua, the pink, and of course the black and white accents, and focus on those as well as gold in embellishing the layout. Now I'm going to take the chipboard thickers from the Carousel collection as well, and these ones are gorgeous. They are the white with the gold kind of outline, and I'm going to spell out the word 20, and then I'll use a dash and the number 3 because 23 is not going to fit there with spelling it all out. So I thought that that was a reasonable compromise to fit in 23, and I'm going to be just documenting obviously Bailey's 23rd birthday here. So I'll just finish that up, and then I'm going to go over to that where that chipboard flower is on the left and do a few more little layers there with one of these really gorgeous perforated little tickets that was on that ticket sheet from the collection, which I absolutely love. I think that's genius. And I'll use a couple of other little stickers from the Carousel collection as layers behind that chipboard flower there as well. And so just really simple and basic layering here to create this layout. And like I said, the white space is just really super pretty. I love that. And like I said, these collections of Maggie Holmes really lend themselves to that. And when I look back at the designs I've done of her collections in the past, this is pretty typical. I've done quite a few where I have this white space. Now I've just added those foam gold foil alphas to the word, or to spell out the word love at the bottom there. And I've just added this little chipboard heart from the chipboard sheet as well, to create a little bit more dimension in that area there and brings more of that gold over to that little embellishment cluster. And then I just put some of those little star sequins on the layout as well in 3 different spots, and I love how this looks. Now I have used a Heidi Swap date stamp on this as well. It's my favorite date stamp because it combines a scripty font with a regular font, or the printed font, and I really like how that looks. Now I thought about adding some journaling over there where I'm pointing now, but I ended up not. I might go back later and do that. We'll see. I'm not really sure, but I really like how this looks the way that it is. Okay guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you another time here on my channel. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.